And second half underway for the United States and Guatemala in this World Cup qualifier. Again, third round in CONCACAF. 3 groups. 4 nations in each of the 3 groups. Top 2 in each group will advance to the hexagonal final round of World Cup qualifying. Those 3 berths on the line for Brazil 2014, the automatic berths. Clint Dempsey with the goal in the 40th minute for the United States, his 27th in international competition. The United States in the dark blue, Guatemala in the white. Guatemala feel the pressure now, Shaka, because if they do not get some sort of result out of this match, they will be bottom of the group as Antigua and Barbuda with a historic 0-0 draw at home to Jamaica.
Well, they have to go for it, Guatemala. They just wondered how the United States would cope. Just before the goal came, I thought that Klinsmann might think about just letting Dempsey drop off a little deeper, maybe let Bradley play a little bit higher, just to give the Guatemalans something to think about. Dempsey had a thoroughly frustrating first half up until that point. The trouble is now, how do you contain them? 1-0 away from home against a side that hasn't scored in you in a month short of 12 years. Just sit defensively. Franklin Johnson, who started to get forward more and more as that first half went on. Ask him to stay at home a bit more, protect this 1-goal lead. Because history says it's enough.
Ball driven across. Oh, and then over the bar. And Howard forced to climb the ladder, but he doesn't have to worry about it. As Luis Rodriguez trying to make something happen on this corner.
Rodriguez gets just a touchline, not enough. Really gets over the top of it. First time Guatemala's made anything of a set piece so far.
The only other thing of note on the score sheet in the first half, the yellow card to Clarence Goodson in the 23rd minute.
Criticise the United States for their performance against Antigua Barbuda. 3-1 win. Great performance. Very good result. I think this performance is exactly what was needed. You had to be disciplined, not take too many chances. Take chances when they do come. That's exactly what happened in the first half. Very easy to get caught up in the emotion played in this stadium. It really is, even as a visiting player, to get caught up in the noise and the each other's way. Tidied up by Bradley, but it's easy to get caught up in the festivities that's going on all around you. They've remained focused, they've remained disciplined.
Third quarter for Guatemala, through the 6-yard box and cleared away. Now Gomez. So halftime substitutions, and Eber Almeida for Guatemala uses all three of his to start the second half. Into the match, Manuel Leon. Number 15, number 16, Marco Papa, and number 17, Dwight Petzerossi, who scored in the 90th minute against Jamaica. And out of the match, Jose Contreras, Carlos Figueroa, and Mario Rodriguez. And Goodson and his yellow card to the bench as Jeff Cameron comes in. Cameron making his 5th appearance, and this is Marco Papa down the right-hand side, a back heel. Driven across by Leon. Headed away by the U.S. and now Jermaine Jones. And Jones, victim of a late tackle. And the card comes out.
Not sure what the complaint about is here. I mean, no question. Jones gets caught. Goodson gets booked for his in the first. No way that Rodriguez was going to escape a card for that. Strange substitution tactic by Almeida. That's exactly what he did in the first game against Jamaica. Again, they were 1-0 down and made all 3 substitutions at half-time. I just think it takes away any option later on in the game. Just to change things, maybe.
So the free kick, Bradley powers it into the box, header attempt. But the foul is called. Jermaine Jones going up and over the defender, Luis Rodriguez. And the other thing that I don't think makes much sense about it either is you've kind of tied your hands if there's any injuries. Making all 3 at halftime.
When he did it against Jamaica, was surprised, but I thought maybe he was just trying to send a message, but to do it 2 games in a row, I'm not sure what to think, really.
And Bradley across for Donovan. Adu will work it down the middle. Gomez spins away. Dempsey. Pitches out. Moves for Jones. Now Cherundolo into the box and miss-hit.
Great ball, Cherundolo. Gomez just peels off and really should have done better with it.
Howard distributes to Bradley. Wide right, Cherundolo. Lays it in on the throw, gets it back. Touched by Dempsey. And now Manuel Leon for Guatemala. Long ball over the top, brought down, and pleased for a handball. I'll have to get another look at that as Michael Bradley cuts into the middle, finds Adu.
I'm surprised that the crowd and players appealed as loudly as they did.
Manuel Leon again slots it ahead. And this goes wide.
The referee couldn't have been less interested, to be quite honest. It's a good first touch by Carlos Ruiz. Oh, he kicks it into his own hand. You can't give that.
Bradley wide for Donovan. He'll drive it ahead, but header's off his line. Takes it in front. Hercules Gomez. Guatemala trying to attack through Marco Papa. Wide for Avila. Seems to be a bundle of energy, but not getting results from it. Now Papa into the area. Chirundolo stays close. Jones just behind. Papa tries to work it down the edge of the box. Across. Pizarrosi heads it back across for Ruiz. And now Donovan goes down after the challenge coming in from Wilfred Velasquez, and no call, and Donovan a bit perplexed. Manuel Leon the throw-in. Donovan works it ahead. Dempsey, he'll just knock it over the top. It's a foot race, and Headers comes out of the box before Gomez can get there. Over Avila, now Pizarrosi. Jermaine Jones now controlling for the U.S. Back to Bradley. Bradley back and forth with Chirundolo. Gomez almost has it knocked away. Dempsey in the middle to Edu. Fabian Johnson has to retreat. Ball from Bradley just behind him, and now Johnson gives it away. Touch over the top. Here's Papa. Well, overran the ball, had to regain possession. Now works away from Johnson. Has a second chance now down this right flank. Plays into the corner. Here's the cross. And chested back to Howard.
How comfortable was that from Jermaine Jones?
And again, that's Bocanegra.
There's no question the ball does hit his hand, but the way the law is written, and for me, the way the law is interpreted, either way, it's never going to be good.
Chance for the U.S. derailed by the offside flag. Howard lets it go. Now Jeff Cameron finds Donovan on the left. Back to Edu. Now Johnson. Edu's pass behind him. Throw in for Guatemala. Jeff Cameron shown well for himself with Houston. An MLS Rookie of the Year finalist in 2008. An All-Star named to the best 11 in 2009. All-Star again last season. So he scored a career-high 5 goals. I think one thing you could argue that kind of goes against Jeff Cameron when Jurgen Klinsmann's trying to evaluate him for the national team is Dominic Kinnear plays him all over the place in Houston.
It's never a good thing to be seen as a utility player.
Well, I don't know if it's so much utility as he's a guy that Kinnear feels can step in and fill a void when needed for the Dynamo. And perhaps better than other players on that team.
And playing for your national team, you've got to be a specialist, really.
And Jermaine Jones in a tangle there, and then there's Papa with a kick on Dempsey. Jones and Luis Rodriguez got together, and now Joel Aguilar deciding that Michael Bradley's taken too long.
That's a ridiculous card to give. I mean, let's be honest. It's not even an hour on the clock. I don't think that Bradley is wasting that much time. When you allow players to do as they please almost with Dempsey, I'll get to that in a minute.
There's Jones trying to play it over the top, and now Avila for Guatemala. Just drive it upfield. Ruiz goes up for it, as he'll partner up front with Dwight Petrossi. Now Papa on the right-hand side, trying to pick out Avila. Jones is fouled. Papa into the book.
Just as I was about to say, this is what the referee needs to start stamping down on. Marco Papa, well, he's only just come on, so can't be accused of overdoing it. But every time Clint Dempsey gets on the ball, they're far too physical with him, and I think the referee's allowed it to go uncarded for far too long.
Rodriguez, the foul on Herculez Gomez. Donovan again, the set piece, just past the hour mark. Clint Dempsey, the goal in the 40th minute, has the U.S. in front 1-0. Donovan into the box, parried away by Jerez.
Deals well with it, Jerez. It's come good last couple of occasions that he's been called on from those set pieces from Landon Donovan. I don't change that tactic at all, though.
Well, Jerez has paid the price this time. And pointing to his right eye. Let's see if we can find out what happened here to Ricardo Jerez.
He seems to get a clean enough punch on it just here, just with his follow through.
Oh, goes into his own man.
Just catches your knee. Oh, Morales.
I think it's Luis Rodriguez, actually, number 14, the center back, who's over as keeper now.
Celebrate plays into the hands of the visitors for me. Slow things down ever so slightly.
And again, we can go back to all 3 substitutions being made at halftime. Ever Almeida doesn't have an option here now,
no,
even if he wanted to.
Not an option that I'm sure he'd like anyway.
Option for the United States is Jose Altidore, who will come on for Herculez Gomez. Altidore led the U.S. with 6 goals in the qualifying for the last World Cup. Still tending to Ricardo Jerez. He's up and ready to stay in. Now Petrossi will drive it ahead. Ruiz trying to get there, but Howard quick off the line. Finds Bradley. And Jurgen Klinsmann trying to find out exactly what strike partnership he wants to go with.
I thought Herculez Gomez did all right without being great. I'm fairly biased to Jose Altidore and like him a lot, both as a person and as a player. Fresh legs and his strength. And back to Guatemala, something else to think about.
A pair of 6s coming together there, and Cherundolo and Velasquez. And now Donovan colliding with Manuel Leon. And the foul will go against Maurice Edu as he came late to the party.
Question about Landon Donovan and his foul.
Edu with some force against Vasquez. Now driven into Howard, but right into his arms.
It's not a bad ball again, but Tim Howard shows absolutely no sense of panic and just stands his ground and makes it look easier than it really was. I think he's a little bit unlucky to pick up that card there. It was firm, but I don't think it was nasty.
Now Dempsey. Wide for Donovan. Now he comes into the edge of the area. He'll drive it across, trying to pick out Altidore, and it's cleared away. Carlos Gallardo making the play for Guatemala.
I just don't feel that Josie Altidore made enough of an effort to get ahead of Gallardo just then. It was a good ball from Donovan. Just held his run slightly.
Chance here for Maurice Edu. Oh, confusing with Altidore. Back to Edu. And Jerez will scoop it up.
They both get in each other's way. And then when Altidore tries to release Edu, the door is quickly shut.
Avila. Johnson gets to that. Donovan. Back to Fabian Johnson. Makes the overlapping run on the left-hand side. Works on Vasquez. Slips it into the middle. This is Dempsey. His effort blocked.
But as that breaks down now with Johnson out of position, there's a huge gap for either Pizzarossi or Papa to drop into. Papa, in fact, drops deep to get on the ball. Guatemala very slow in their build-up.
Avila trying to work on Jones. Plays to Leon. Leon. It's ahead now. Here's a chance. And this is Papa, and just missing the net. Oh.
Well, it's a deflection that deceives Tim Howard. Again, you have somebody lining one up from 35 yards on Tim Howard. You don't see that as a problem at all. It's going to Tim Howard's left. Touch from the boot of Bradley.
Fourth quarter for Guatemala, and now in front, Howard the save, and the rebound is blasted over the bar by Carlos Ruiz.
What a save this is from Tim Howard. What a miss that is from Carlos Ruiz. Last three corners, Guatemala have gotten on the end of. Rodriguez just tries to stab it by Howard. Gets a good left leg on it. Couldn't do much else. Then Carlos Ruiz, unobstructed, coming in with Tim Howard still on his way back up. Tries to beat the American goalkeeper for pace and just makes an absolute mess of it.
I guess the question is, did he need to put that much behind it?
No, he absolutely did not.
Now Papa, who has definitely made a difference for Guatemala since coming in at halftime. Edu. Out for Chirondolo. Now Cameron. Trying to pick out Altidore, but it falls to Maurice Edu. He sends it wide for Fabian Johnson. Now Altidore into the box. Luis Rodriguez trying to close the gap. Good tackle by Rodriguez.
Tell you what, I think Rodriguez gets Altidore before he gets ball here.
Now Jermaine Jones with a chance, but no. Avila for Guatemala. Have to get a look at that replay. Most important man on the field who thought it was an okay challenge was the referee, Joel Aguilar.
Well, he showed nothing at all wrong with it, which surprised me. I thought Rodriguez got man before ball. Talk about emotion getting the better of players. Maybe being a little bit unfair to Carlos Ruiz, as he had to take that quickly. But I think on another night, maybe another stadium, he just passes that into the back of the net. Felt that emotion would play a part. I think it did there with Ruiz.
We understand there's some transmission issues. We apologize for that. Jeff Cameron for the U.S. Inside 20 minutes remaining. Very faithful at the Mateo Flores National Stadium in Guatemala City. Still hoping their team can grab one. Marco Papa out for Marvin Avila. Papa gets it back. Number of step overs. Cherundolo just watches it. Now, middle of the field, taken away by Edu. Bradley steps up for the U.S. Donovan. Drive it across, can't pick out Altidore. Headed over to the far touchline. Dempsey won't get there in time. And now Erwin Morales. Carlos Ruiz will track this down in the corner. Working on Johnson, cuts back to the right foot. Does it again. Now his cross, and Tim Howard will let that go. As Dwight Petzorossi did not get enough on it to threaten the U.S. keeper.
Does very well here, Carlos Ruiz. But I think this is one, maybe two cutbacks too many. As a striker, you want that ball delivered early. Petzorossi does very well just to keep finding space, but in the end, he's almost waiting on it. It's never what you want to be doing as a striker.
Jermaine Jones called for the foul for backing into the Guatemalan defender. Now Avila for Guatemala. Bradley gets it back for the U.S. Hanna seems to have recovered from the earlier collision with his own man Luis Rodriguez. He took a knee to the side of the head. Bradley for Cherundolo. Get it back. Lead the attack here for the U.S. Over Altidore, but falls for Donovan. Top of the 18. Landon Donovan pushes it out. Shot is blocked. Steve Cherundolo gets back to his position at right back. Gets the ball from Edu. Now Jones. Good play by Morales to step up for Guatemala. Now Avila. And I'll say this, Landon Donovan, sometimes he's been close where he thought he might have a go to try and get that 50th goal, but he has opted for the pass.
Well, I think he was just waiting to see what Altidore would do, give him space. In the end, Altidore did make the run outside, but because he maybe didn't make the run as quickly as Landon Donovan would have liked, just ended up taking defenders into Donovan's path. I thought he just dwelt on this a little bit too long, Jermaine Jones. In the end, very sporty of Guatemala to put it out.
Jones is back up after getting tangled up with Erwin Morales. And Jones will play it back. And now Wilfred Velasquez, middle of the park, out to Morales. quarter hour to go in regulation time. And the injury to Ricardo Jerez. Jones was just down. We could be looking at 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time. Push there, a foul as Edu is shoved down.
Straight call by the ref. Take a pick on these for me, really. Given for the foul on Bocanegra. Given for the foul on Edu.
Edu grabbing at the back of his right calf. And Joel Aguilar will send Edu to the sideline. Well, 13.5 minutes to go for Jürgen Klinsmann. His team to mindful defensively, I'm sure, and
just don't need to take any chances at the back. You know, Fabian Johnson, his natural game is to get forward, join in the attack. Don't need it right now.
Donovan for Edu, who's back out on the pitch. And Chirundolo. Jones just getting shoved by Morales, and Aguilar lets it go twice. Now off of Jermaine Jones, throwing for Guatemala. Now Altidore for Donovan. Two defenders close on Landon Donovan. Dempsey has to touch back to Bradley. Tries to play it ahead. It goes off the Guatemalan defender. That's Manuel Leon throwing for the United States. Josie Altidore. Controlling traffic out to Dempsey, looking just for enough of a gap. Slips it ahead. Foul is called as Altidore breaks through.
Well,
why not the advantage?
Should have been played. Does not have to be this quick with the whistle at all. Referees are instructed to let things play up to 3 seconds past the foul. Not even in slow motion, that's 3 seconds.
Dempsey hobbles away. But Altidore had put it by, although you can argue Jerez had stopped play when he heard the whistle. But a wonderful opportunity here for the U.S. just outside the 18. Bradley behind the ball, Jermaine Jones as well, or will it be Donovan who will try and get his 50th? And Donovan heads into the wall. And Jermaine Jones steps up.
That is just
disappointment.
A tired strike if I've ever seen one. Love to see Bradley just thump one.
What those free kicks say with have a defender come up as a la, you know, an Alex when he was with PSV or Chelsea and just hit it with everything he has.
Always, from that distance, there's always a body or two just in front of the goalkeeper. Even if you say it's goalkeeper's side, it's never easy.
If you strike it well enough, you can test of bravery for the men in the wall. Now Altidore. It's away from him, but played out wide. Donovan touches to Bradley. Now Jones leaves for Cherundolo. 10 minutes to go. United States trying to make it 2 for 2 at the start of this round of qualifying.
There's that slip yet again.
Again, top 2 teams from each of the 3 groups will advance to the final round of qualifying. Finish this one tonight. Off for the summer until September 7th. Guatemala looking for a tying goal, but Johnson and Ruiz come together. Fabian Johnson will go into the book here. Ruiz taking perhaps more exception to the elbow getting up. But really wasn't that hard of a foul from Johnson. Probably Ruiz suffering more when Bradley fell over him.
It's a foul, but I saw nothing to warrant the reaction from Carlos Ruiz, other than maybe a little bit of frustration of his own. Should have scored earlier, as we mentioned. Maybe he should have just slipped in Pezzarozzi just then. Just outside of your picture. He is caught by Bradley. Nothing that Johnson did to warrant the reaction from Ruiz.
Michael Bradley's defense, I just don't think he expected 2 men to go down right in front of him.
He couldn't do anything about it. Couldn't get out of the way.
Well, so a similar free kick to the one that Jermaine Jones just had for the United States. And for Guatemala, will it be Papa or Ruiz? Papa steps into it and he scores! What a goal by Marco Papa, and Guatemala has leveled at 1.
This is just a fantastically struck free kick by Marco Papa. Again, Tim Howard doesn't cheat. Even if he did, I don't think he's getting anywhere near this. We've seen little of the half-time substitute up to this point. Here's the foul that brought the free kick. Here's the free kick that brought the goal. Underside of the crossbar, Tim Howard, for once, absolutely no chance.
The man from the Chicago Fire has tied the match up for Guatemala, and now United States and Jurgen Klinsmann, are you content with a point on the road in Guatemala City, or do you go for the win?
I think you're happy with the point, given the 3 points you got over the weekend, given the draw between Jamaica and Antigua Barbuda earlier in the day. Well, I thought he'd be content. Clearly he isn't. The equalizer anyway.
Box chance here for the USA. 2.
Altidore wants it. The ball sitting up as nicely as that one was from Maurice Adu. Of course he's going to take it. This is who will take that free kick. My word. Look at the walk. In the end, jumps and still gets it over him and down quickly enough. Inside the crossbar. Again, as much as Altidore maybe looks at Bradley there, I think that's a great ball by Michael Bradley. And Josie Altidore, just if he continues his run as he should, he's tapping in.
Altidore battling. Goes down after Some contact from Vasquez, but play on by Joel Aguilar, and Guatemala will do just that. Guatemala losing to Jamaica in the opening match. They may be content to continue to press the action, see if they can find the full 3 points. Altidore pulls himself up. Leon into the 18, touched along. Edu taps it out of the box, and now Donovan. Jones has to track back for it. Marco Papa joins Carlos Ruiz. They're the 2 Guatemalans to have hat tricks in Major League Soccer. Papa did it last season against Real Salt Lake. Ruiz did it in 2002. Now Dempsey. Donovan. Pushing down the edge of the box, squares it across, can't pick out Altidore. Now Bradley gets under it.
Avila does well. Bradley has to take this quickly. Can't get over the top of it.
Just like the first half, Shaka, when Guatemala had an opportunity, a big save by Tim Howard on Carlos Figueroa. Then at the other end, Dempsey would get the goal. Well, here, a free kick opportunity. Jermaine Jones doesn't do much with it. Then from a similar spot on the field, Marco Papa levels for Guatemala. And now Fabian Johnson for the U.S. Inside 3 minutes of regulation time. Bradley. Bocanegra back to Howard. Rossi for Avila. The cross. This falls here. Drive goes wide. Oh, Marco Papa looking for a second.
If I went and said that we'd seen little of Marco Papa up until the goal. He's determined to leave. He's more of an impression on this one. Catches that volley pretty swiftly.
89th minute. Throw in for the U.S. Here's the chance from Papa.
Up until the free kick, you just wondered where the goal would come from for Guatemala. I will say this, they found themselves 2 down against Jamaica and scored very late on. Just 1 goal in it. Maybe encouraged by their late showing against Jamaica. Felt that they could still get something out of it. Well, they have a point for now. Goal against Jamaica came even later than this. It came in the 93rd.
Here's the goal by Dempsey in the 40th minute of the match. And then in the 83rd minute, this wonderful free kick by Marco Papa. Bradley down the left side. Can't find Altidore before it goes into touch. And the way things are right now, it will be the U.S. and Jamaica atop the group with 4 points apiece. The U.S. will be ahead on goal difference by 1. Guatemala will be level with Antigua and Barbuda. Guatemala will be ahead on goal difference. They have conceded 1 less than Antigua and Barbuda.
Trouble is, as we've discussed, Joe, Guatemala now play Antigua and Barbuda twice. The next 2 games, Jamaica play the United States twice. Few of them have a 6-point swing potentially. Into the closing 2 games.
Then those games September 11th, or the 7th and the 11th. Three minutes of stoppage time. I thought it could have been 4 or 5 with how long Ricardo Jerez was down.
So do I. We've had quite a few stoppages in the second half. Edu had to be taken to the sideline after he went down and the physio was brought on. That was a couple of minutes on its own.
Out to go back to Bradley as Guatemala now trying to hold on. Gain a share of the spoils. Cherundolo. Poor touch by Dempsey. Now Avila for Guatemala. Knocks it off of Cherundolo for a throw-in. Morales. High looping throw. Flicked along. Bocanegra will drive it ahead for the U.S. Morales again into the 18. Again, Bocanegra dispatches it. Third time a charm, perhaps. Cleared yet again by the U.S. Now Bocanegra flying ahead, drives it into touch. Less than a minute to go in stoppage time, but the final substitution for the United States is Kyle Beckerman. Will come on in place of Landon Donovan.
This is a clear indication that a point will do Jürgen Klinsmann. A little bit of time on the clock.
Beckerman, the captain of Real Salt Lake, led to do an MLS Cup, also into the finals of the CONCACAF Champions League. Now battle top of the box, touched ahead, here's a chance! The offside flag is up. We've gone by the requested 3 minutes, but perhaps another minute. The Beckerman-Donovan swap. We'll see how much time Joel Aguilar feels is necessary. Area scooped up by Jerez.
It's a good performance without really being a great one by the United States. It's a good point though. It's never an easy place to come to here in Guatemala.
After Clint Dempsey put the U.S. up in front in the first half in the 40th minute, it was Marco Papa with the equalizer for Guatemala. And a necessary point for Guatemala as they try to see if they can make it to the final round of qualifying. And perhaps disappointment for the United States, but the upside, the first 2 matches in, they've picked up a win at home, a draw on the road. Most times you take that.
You certainly will. And as I said, in both games, I don't think the performances have been great, but the results were more than Jürgen Klinsmann. Well, maybe not more, but as much as I'm sure he would have liked. Gives them something to build on.
So, final score from Guatemala City. The United States and Guatemala play to a 1-1 draw. For Shaka Hislop and our entire production crew, I'm Joe Tolleson. Thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of Integrated Sports and Traffic Sports USA in conjunction with ESPN. Good night. All the best.